Yo, what's going on everyone? Guiding Light here, back with another quick first Descendant guide. And this one, I'm going to explain to you guys how you can complete this quest, which you will get at the very end of the storyline. It will tell you to go to complete research on any ultimate descendant. Now these ultimate descendants are better versions of the originals, and a few of them can be easier to craft than the others. Now for this quest, I suggest starting out with Lepic because the parts in order to craft him are actually not very difficult to achieve, whereas the parts for the other ultimates like Bunny or Viessa, they can actually be quite difficult to achieve if you're just getting into the level 100 endgame. So if you just want to get this challenge done, this quest done as fast as you can, so you can move on and get the rewards and also the ultimate character, which would probably help you to level up and get even more stuff later, you probably just want to go after Lepic. So if we click on Lepic, you'll see that he does require different parts. Now, if you guys are missing any of these parts, you can actually click on it. If you click acquisition info, it will tell you how to get the part, what missions will actually drop the specific part or the blueprint. Now, some of these parts will actually break down into even more smaller parts, so you're going to have to farm for those as well. Now, it's a little confusing, but if you remember when we crafted Divine Punishment during the story, the steps for crafting the ultimate descendant are very, very similar. So in order to get these parts, you have to go into certain missions and loot a chest at the very, very end, which will have a small chance at dropping the part you're looking for. Now the problem with this process though is that in order to open up these chests at the end of the missions, you will first need what's called an amorphous material. Now these patterns always look identical, they always have pretty similar icons, but if you check out the number of the pattern at the very end, it will tell you which pattern is which. So before going into the mission which drops the pattern, you first have to go and farm up some keys. So if you click on the amorphous material pattern, it will show you the exact mission which drops this pattern. Now this is where the real grind starts, because not only do you have to grind the missions and certain bosses in order to try to get these component parts, but just in order to get the keys, you're going to have to farm these missions as well, as the acquisition chance is only 25% on these keys. Now if you've gotten to this point in the game where you've probably already gone after some of these keys, these material patterns, or really any item in the game, you probably already know that these acquisition chances are a complete load. Now, to be fair, there are actually certain pieces of gear which can slightly, very, very slightly increase drop chances of yellow items and things like that. So I'm not sure if maybe these percentages are based on expecting you to have that leveled up. I don't really know if what's going on with it. So you can expect to be running these for quite some time. Now I'm hoping that maybe either they, up the drop chances, or they at least accurately start displaying the chance. So if you don't see the drop after a few runs, don't quit or don't think that it's made up. You're unfortunately just going to have to keep running that. So once you finally do have a few keys together, you can go back and check exactly what you'll need for the blueprint itself. So it will show you what mission goes with which key. Now, anytime that it says to go and complete a mission, but underneath it, it says amorphous material pattern required, this is the game telling you that you will need these keys essentially before going into the mission in order to actually get the drop. So that's why it's saying it's required, because it is required to open up the chest at the end of the mission. Now, each time you open up the chest, it will get rid of one of these amorphous material patterns. And so then you'll have to go back and farm out some more if you don't get the piece that you need. And that's why this can take so much time, because these keys only have a 25% drop chance. And then when you finally do get into the boss itself, the boss only has maybe 20 to 30% drop chance of dropping it from there as well. So it really is a progressive luck system that you have to get lucky multiple times in order to get these parts. Now, not every single part is going to be that difficult to get. Luckily, some of the other ones will just come out of munitions boxes and resource boxes. All of the other components required to craft this, you can actually get pretty easily, and you'll actually get most of the time you'll get these parts just from running through other missions, so long as you're breaking the chest along the way. But anytime it comes to crafting either an ultimate weapon or even one of the ultimate descendants, you will always have to go through this same process where you have to farm keys so that you can then farm a mission, so that you can then farm a boss, and then you'll be able to finally craft whatever it is you're going after. So the same process can be said on all of the Descendants, but the reason why I say to go for Lepic first is because this one doesn't require you to do any hard mode missions. So you'll be able to get Lepic unlocked by doing mostly normal missions. Then once you have Ultimate Lepic, you can actually start to worry about getting some of the other ultimates, because you can use the Ultimate Lepic to actually beat the harder level 100 plus missions. Even if you don't really like using him or you don't want to really do this, once you have him unlocked, it will actually make unlocking the other ultimate descendants and weapons easier. Just because you'll be able to equip him if you ever run into a mission that's really tough or a boss that you can't beat, you'll at least have your ultimate Lepic that you can switch to and then farm out the ultimate bunny or whatever one you're actually going after. So this process can take quite a bit of time, and it is a little overwhelming at first. But once you guys have crafted one or two ultimates, the process is literally the exact same for crafting every ultimate weapon and descendant in the game. It's just that the missions will be different that you have to complete, but the same process where you have to get the key and then use those keys to open up chests and boss missions usually will be the exact same. Now, I was able to farm out one of the ultimate weapons in as little as 4 hours. Now, it is a lot of time to put in, but it's not as much as I thought it was going to be. I really genuinely thought it would take multiple days to potentially get this unlocked. Now, keep in mind, guys, you do have to get lucky, and you will have to run certain missions maybe 3 or 4 times to get the drops, but it does not take as long as you might think. So hopefully this in-depth guide helps you to unlock all of these ultimates and explains the process a bit better. So you can think of this quest as sort of an introductory to the end game and an introductory on how it is to actually craft ultimates. Because once done this once, every time you want to do it, it will actually be the exact same process. And so it'll get easier and easier every time and makes sense more and more as you complete more of these descendants. Now, I've been making tons and tons of guides on the game, and I know a lot of people have been leaving comments asking me to help them out with bosses and other missions as well. So if you guys need any help with missions or anything like that, be sure to let me know down in the comments. And be sure to stay tuned to the channel, because there's a good chance I'll be doing a lot of live streams where I just help anybody who needs help with whatever mission or whatever boss, and I'll just help everybody through, because I'm pretty high level and I can get through most of the bosses, if not all of them, in as little as like 2 or 3 minutes. So if you need any help, just leave a comment and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.